Hi, this is Summer with Summer's Tips and Stitches, and this is a yarn chat video. So what I'm going to talk about in order, I don't necessarily know how to do those chapter breaks that people talk about, but this is what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk a little bit about hooks and needles. That is a subscription box that they've given me an affiliate link, and I told them I'd make a bunch of videos. So is this a sponsored video? I don't know, but the front part of it is. So I'm going to talk about that. Then I'm going to talk about a book I've read and something I made with my new Michaels yarn. So that's, I think, the three main things that we're talking about today in this video. Okay, so as I mentioned, I was asked to help be an affiliate, I think, for hooks and needles. So there is a coupon code associated with my name, and I do have an affiliate link. So I'll put those in the description below. It is a two-part company from what I can tell. There are subscription boxes, and there's three of them. There's a knitting box, a crocheting box, and an amigurumi box. And I think the knitting and the crochet box are about the same price, and the amigurumi is a little bit more. They are a monthly subscription box, and you can pause it or stop it at any time and then restart it when you want to. They did send me a free box, which I have been, I'm trying to get it over here to show you. Whoops, I went the wrong way. I've broken into and I've worked on, and I wanted to talk about a few things, a few comments that I got from the previous video where I mentioned them. I am going to make a more detailed video after this, quite frankly, where I go more into the pattern and the yarn, but I just wanted to address a few things that people had said. Now, I actually, had never heard of, I'd never heard of hooks and needles. I have done Knit Crate. I did the Vicky Howell subscription box. I don't remember what she called hers now. I've listed them before. I've done others. And actually, as I got bored with certain ones, I would look for a new one, and I, at that point, hadn't heard of hooks and needles. And the reason I'm saying this is a couple people had mentioned that previously they had the subscription from Hooks and Needles, and they didn't like the quality of the yarn. There wasn't any pattern booklet, and different comments about that. So I did want to talk about, you know, what I feel that I got in this first box, and I do have another. The yarn quality was amazing. It is wonderful, high quality yarn, made in Portugal, merino wool, super squishy, beautiful coloring. I mean, I just love this blue tweedy color. I have nothing left to show of the gray because I made one of the projects. But I'm thrilled that I'm like 98% way done, and I have enough, I think, to make another one of the projects in this box. So the yarn was amazing. I really liked it. Now, would I have necessarily chosen blue and gray for myself? As you know, I'm a purple, pink, and blue kind of a gal. But that's one thing I do like about subscription boxes, is it stretches me. It gives me color combinations and patterns I never would have thought of trying, because I am a creature of habit, and I like to go for and do the same thing. I mean, if you take a quick flash of my yarn hoard, you will see it's almost all the same colors. I don't think I barely have an orange or a yellow in there. So I really like that somebody else who has artistic talents, different artistic talents, can take the time and choose some colors that really go well with each other. That's something that I really struggle with, that I really like out of this subscription box, is that these two yarns aren't the same color, but they go really well together. The overall theme, I use that word loosely, is their similar tweed pattern, where one of them is blue with these kind of grayish, orangish, tannish flecks. The gray also has those same colored tweeds. And so they go really well together, and I love the look. I wouldn't have been drawn to it. So that's one thing I do like. Some people don't. Some people talk about how they like to choose their colors and they like to go get what they want. And I just don't feel like I have that skill at color matching hues. You know what I mean? You can put a pink and a purple together, but if the hues or the tone or the quality of the colors don't necessarily go with each other, that's kind of where I'm at. So I love that aspect of subscription boxes, that somebody out there has chosen some colors that go well with each other. The yarn quality is the same, and I really liked it. Also, I did get, and this is something that I really love in the subscription boxes. Maybe it's because I'm in my 40s and I'm stuck in the past. I love getting these crochet books. I mean, I have every single one that I've gotten until Knit Crate then went electronic. I like keeping them. I like sharing them. I organize them. And so then whenever I want to, like, if I really love this pattern that I'm working on right now, I'm going to make this in the future and I'm going to put this in my baby patterns and I'll pull it out and do it again. I like that it's quality. It's a quality book. This isn't something that's going to get stuck in my crochet bag and rip, you know, when I pull out my yarn or whatever. So I really like that. The other thing is, even though I'm an experienced crocheter, I've been crocheting easy 10 years now. I mean, I was introduced to it as a child, but I mean like heavy, full-blown, threw myself into the hobby for the last 10 years. I still need to be able, I don't know if I just need the assurance or a double check on my confidence. When I read a pattern and the abbreviation, I'm like, oh, I'm not really sure what's going on. I love that they have these illustrations, these color illustrations. So for the pattern that I was working on last night, I think maybe it was partly that it was the end of the day and it was parent-teacher conferences and my contacts were foggy. I just could not wrap my brain around the stitch, what they were asking me to do. And so then I just stopped and I brought out my reading glasses and I looked at the pattern and I could look at what they had crocheted, what their sample, and I counted the stitches and I was like, okay, there it is. So I really do like these full color booklets. Somebody had said that they didn't have them or they weren't good quality. These booklets are excellent. They're the glossy magazine pages, fully colored, bold print. I'm 45. I'm going to need reading glasses to read some of it, but very well laid out for me to understand the pattern. And there are lots of illustrations to help you. And like I said, I've been reading and working with patterns for 10 years now. And every once in a while, just depending on my brain load, I do need to stop and look at the illustrations. So those were the two concerns that I had heard, that the yarn wasn't very nice and that either they didn't have booklets or their booklets weren't very nice. And I thought they were amazing. I thought they were really great. And then the other thing is that they are having, they do have tutorials. They do have video tutorials. They have these QR codes that you can scan, and then you can access online patterns. So if you are younger and more electronically based, I am sure that you can scan your QR code, load it up on your phone, load it up on your iPad. And you know what I do with those, you guys? Even if I do that, and let's say I've lost my booklet or whatever, I save them to my computer or I print them off. Yeah, I know. I go to Ross's website and print off his hat pattern quite a bit. So those were the two concerns that I had, or that I had seen in the comments. And I'm being honest, I really love the yarn. I love the color combo that they gave me, something I never would have chosen. It is beautiful, as I say, bougie yarn. It's not what I'm getting at like Joann's or Michael's or Walmart. I mean, this is nice yarn, which is nice for me because in order to go to a yarn shop, I'm driving at least 15-20 minutes, which I know you big city people say like, Summer, that's nothing. But I have to get on the highway. And I have this beautiful bougie yarn here for me right now. I will do another video going more detailed into the pattern that I've made. I'm actually hoping that my daughter can help me do some kind of a fancy photography. I wanted to do like an assembly type video. We'll see if she can. If she can't, it's just going to be good old-fashioned Summer talking to her phone, mashing the clips up together in the Apple editor. Okay, so yeah, stay tuned for another video about this first pattern that I made. That's what I did yesterday. I came home from parent teacher conferences, I got into my comfies, and I sat down, watched Mariah Elizabeth's video, and started working on my project. The next thing that I want to, that was 10 minutes. Oh, wow. The next thing that I wanted to talk about is I've read another one of these murder mystery books. I wanted to give an extra thank you to Patty. I had mentioned that I actually came across this book series because of Christy, one of my crochet friends in the Summer's Tips and Stitches Facebook group. She had started watching videos, and now we just chat through that group and Facebook, and she helps me manage my group. I couldn't do it without her. But I think she had mentioned seeing one of these books at the library, and then because I am terrible at returning books to the library, I'm a library thief, I just bought them off of Amazon. I don't intentionally steal them. I forget, and then I lose it, and then it filters out of my brain, and then a couple years later, I go to check something out, and they're like, "Oh, you owe $1,000." So I just buy the books now. But Patty so kindly for my birthday bought me the books. So I just read By Hook or By Crook, and this I want to say is the third book in the series. I'm gonna look through. It does, you know, like any of these, it lists them in the beginning. Or maybe it doesn't in this one. Maybe it's the end. I have read quite a few of these. Yeah, I can't find the page now that tells you. I at one point had them all listed. Oh, this is the third. Hooked on Murder was actually, I read the second one, Dead Man Don't Crochet. Then I read the first one, Hooked on Murder. And now I've got the third one, By Hook or By Crook. And it's about a gal whose name is Molly Pink. And she works at a bookstore, and in this bookstore is a crochet club that gets together. They work in crochet for charity. So different people in the community donate yarn or money, and then they give whatever they're crocheting to charity. So one of the books, they made a blanket to be in an auction for an animal shelter. In this one, they were making baby blankets to donate to the police officers. So if they go on a police call or whatever, and there's a sad little baby nugget that needs some hugging and cuddling, they have a crochet blanket to wrap the baby up into, or the small child to give them comfort. The story, of course, is delightful. I, all the way till the end, did not know who the murderer was. I was shocked. And poor Molly, so far, 3 for 3 is nearly murdered in every book, but she will survive. I know that because there's more books. And then the other thing that I love about these books, which hopefully my vow initially was every book I read, I would make the pattern. So one thing they talk about in here is filet crochet, which I'd never heard of. Now, once they described it, I do think one of my knitting buddies from before I got a teaching job, I met in a crochet knitting group. It was more so all the ladies knitted, but they could crochet. It was at Starbucks. And those ladies shared with me all their knowledge, all their skills, all their leftover hoard bits that they didn't want anymore. And I do think that this one gal that goes by Knitwit on her screen name did talk to me about filet crochet at one point. But anyway, there's a pattern in there for a bookmark they talk about, and then I think this is the chart for it. And then the cuddle blanket that they give to the police officers, also the pattern is in the book. And this is super I don't have my reading glasses here, guys, so bear with me. This says super bulky soft yarn, such as Red Heart Baby Clouds. Shockingly, I do not have any of that in my hoard. Here, since I've mentioned my hoard twice, I'll show you just in case you're a new subscriber. There is my hoard. There it is. For some reason, no Red Heart Super Baby Cloud or whatever it is. But I do have super chunky yarns. So there is a pattern for that baby blanket. I do want to try to make every pattern they have in here. Then the other thing that they have in here that is not my jam, but some of you it may be, California noodle pudding. They have a recipe. So in each book, there's something that Molly cooks or whatever. At some point, it comes up a couple times. And this one is a noodle pudding. And I'm going to be honest, I have no idea what she is eating. I'm tricked by the word pudding. I feel like, you know, instant pudding. But then there's noodles involved. And I'm just like, I do know that the British call like breakfast puddings or something like that, but it's a hearty meal. So I can't read the ingredients right now because it's way too small, but it's a California noodle pudding if you're interested in cooking. So I actually started reading this on election night because I'm a workaholic and my kids have all these things that I'm taking them to. I was like, I don't have time to early vote. I'm just going to go stand in line. And I knew that it was long from a couple years ago. And the way I think my district or voting ward sets up, they're not very efficient. I've actually debated writing a letter now. But anyway, I know they're volunteers and they're giving their free time, so I didn't want to fuss. But you guys, I was in line for 3 hours. I got there at 3:58 and I was finally able to leave by 6:58. But I was prepared. I brought my umbrella. I wore a poncho with a sweatshirt underneath it so that if I was cold, because I was outside for an hour and a half before I even got into the building. And I brought my book. And so I read it through. And then Thursday night after parent-teacher conference, I finished it. So, because we had no school Thursday, Friday, so it was a lighter day. And in between conferences, I was getting my lesson planning done. So when I came home, I was able to just come home and relax. Are these a big brain buster of a book? No. These are a nice, quick, and easy read. The thing that I like about it is because I'm in my 40s now, and these are women that are in the 30 to 50 range, living their life. Some are married, some are single, some are divorced. They're all united by crochet and then, of course, murder. So thank you, Patty. Typically I don't read books during the school year because my brain is full. But I knew I'd be standing in line for 3 hours and I had no data left on my cell phone plan. So it was either read a book or be bored. So I read a book, finished it up the other night, and it was great. I'll just add that to the list of things that I have been like mentally saying that I'm going to crochet. But I can check one thing off that I was going to do. If you guys remember, I was thrilled and have been thrilled that my town got a Michaels. I did not end up taking the day off of school. I actually wish I had, but I didn't. I ended up working a full day, and then I came home and I dropped my kids off and I met my sister in the parking lot and we zipped over to Michaels and I went through the store, bought a bunch of stuff. There's a video that I can link in the description below. I mean, it's not thrilling and it's not like cinema quality, but I did take you through my Michaels. I did buy I bought quite a lot of yarn, but one thing that I did buy was Loops and Thread Impeccable acrylic yarn, worsted weight. I bought a variegated and a blue, and I wanted to make a hat with it. So I made a hat, and I just knitted the brim in the solid blue, and then I changed rows every other color. So I did a row of solid, a row of variegated, row of solid, row of variegated, all the way up till about the time that about here, if you can tell. I started my decrease, and then I just finished with the blue at the top, solid blue. I'll attach a pom-pom, and now I have another blue hat. Do I like it? It's good enough, but I think the thing that I need to remember is if I'm going to do a variegated yarn with a solid, I keep forgetting and being like, oh, that blue looks really good. I'm going to mix it in there. They match. Well, what happens is when you get to like this section here, where the blue in the variegated matches up with the solid blue, it looks like nothing. So it's not a full stripy pattern. Do you see that? There's some of it here, there's some of it there. The hat's cute and everything, but I just need to remember that. So maybe next time either mix this with a different color that complements it, which is, I just said before, is not my strength, or just do a solid. So right now I have started doing just the solid blue, and then I'm going to do a solid variegated hat, solid variegated, only knit with variegated. And yes, I have abandoned crocheting hats. I'm sorry, I just love a knitted hat better. And so I mean, every once in a while I find a cute pattern that I've forgotten to turn off my alarm. So what I was saying was every once in a while I do find a hat that I like to crochet, but I stick with knitting most of the time. The last thing that I was going to say, because I just silenced my alarm and I have less than 10 minutes for the snooze, I did try to order a Crochet Society advent calendar. I feel like I'm going to double check with my husband to see if the money came out of the account. So that should be coming any day. Somebody had mentioned on a Facebook group that they got theirs. So even though I'm not getting their crochet subscription box, I kept my account open, and I did order the advent calendar. So hopefully that comes through, and then I'll do a video every day until Christmas talking about my wonderful life, opening my advent calendar. But yeah, you guys, that is all for this yarn chat video. Thank you, Hooks and Needles, for sponsoring me or making me an affiliate so I can, you know, share in this delicious, wonderful yarn and make patterns and talk about it with everyone. And again, thank you, Patty, for the book. Thanks for liking and subscribing. Thank you for sharing my videos. And until the next video, happy crafting. Bye.